Good evening.
Hello.
Hello and good evening. Who is going to be the first to join us today? Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Hello, Julie.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Who's there that could say hello to us now?
Hello, hello.
I hope I can read the comments. It wouldn't be like yesterday. Hi, Temilola. I know you've joined Temilola. Good evening. Thank you for joining, guys. As you're coming in, please do the honors and share immediately. Hello, Tony. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We're going to continue the reflection on the power and force of truth. That's series 34 on Sunday Adelaja Official. This series was a packed series. It took 45 titles to exhaust this series by Dr. Sunday. But do you know what? He hasn't even finished. It's so much to teach about, to discuss. So we're now talking about or reflecting on what he has taught in the 45 titles of the power and force of truth. So please join us in this conversation. You can always call Julie Ngoya. She'll put her name and messenger onto the comment section so that you can click on it and just call us to join the discussion. So also, you can write your comments down. So you can write your comment in the comment section. We love to read from you. It's always a pleasure to engage with you. So this reflection is just our discussion on the topic, on the title that we're going to share with you now. We're going to discuss why people don't tell the truth.
Deny the truth.
Okay?
Deny or reject the truth. Yeah.
Actually, it's a difference from what I've just said. So why people deny or reject the truth is different from why people don't tell the truth. So this one is deny or reject the truth. So totally two different aspects. Not telling the truth it's different from that. Not telling the truth is a lie, but denying, accepting truth into your life is different, and rejecting is similar to deny. So you're denying or rejecting and saying that this is not, you are not going to accept this truth. A good example is some of what Dr. Sunday has been saying in the last teaching, in the last 2 weeks, and how many people are rejecting those teaching because they just have their reasons. So those reasons we'll discuss with you today, and also you can also share your thoughts with us. We'd love to hear from you. We always want to learn from you as well. So it's not just that we want to talk, but we also want you to talk and learn from you. Thank you very much. So who's there? Kabil, how are you? Good evening. Thank you for joining us. What else do we have here? Tunde, good evening. It's been a while. Thank you for joining.
Hi Tunde. Hi Kabir.
Hi Benny Gift. Good evening. Hello Kaz. How are you? Vivian, good evening. Hey Ken, good evening. Pastor Bede, good evening.
Hello.
Tony, good evening. Thank you for joining. So guys, please do the honors. We love this reflection time. And today, as I said already, we are reflecting on the power and force of truth. Series number 34, YouTube, Sunday Adelaja Official. So type in Sunday Adelaja on your YouTube browser, and you will see a picture in circle or round of Dr. Sunday's face, and he's wearing a blue jacket and green bow tie and shirt. Click on that. That will take you to his channel, and from his channel you would see on his homepage he has the playlist on there with pictures of playlist and what is on the playlist, numbers of videos on the playlist. Click, go down, scroll like middle section and scroll. You will see number 34. But you don't have to just go to number 34. You can actually go and check all the other titles and series that Dr. Sunday has been treating or teaching over the last year or so. It's not up to 2 years yet, So it's almost 3,000. So check them out. There's some audios on there as well. So please don't hesitate to check out YouTube Sunday Adelaja Official. Thank you very much. Raja, good evening. Thank you for joining us. So one more time, guys. Share, share, share. Okay. Right. So, Julie, I think you should start this.
Yeah? Okay. Right. So we're talking about why people deny the truth. And during the series, Dr. Sunday was giving us a few reasons or a few reasons why people actually deny the truth. And the first of it was, it depends on the authoritative figures in our lives. So there are certainly people in our lives who have certain authority, who have leadership positions, or who have a higher position than us, like our parents, in certain areas, our parents, our bosses, our pastors, our leaders, our mentors, all of these people that we tend to either look up to or are dependent on. And because of them, we usually deny the truth that, is given from us, from a different source. So we've always been listening to our parents, we've always been listening to our leaders, our bosses, our big sister, big brother, whoever it is. And because they've been repeating those things into our system, we tend to hold on to those things and are less open to the truth if it's coming from someone else. So we have to be quite analytic, I would say, and very critically analytic in our thinking. And most of all, really try to love the truth, because I think the best thing really is to love the truth, because it will help you to have an open heart whenever it is spoken to you. It's almost like a good friend that you recognize. So if you have someone that since your childhood, for example, and you lost touch with the person and you see them again, you will somehow recognize them, and nobody's going to be able to tell you anything else than, this is the person, because you know them and you recognize the features, you remember, the past. And this is how it is supposed to be with us concerning the truth. We are supposed to know the truth and love the truth so much that whenever people talk to us, we are able to realize and to acknowledge, or to distinguish better, if this is really the truth or not, irrespective of who it comes from.
Thank you, Julie. That was brilliant. That was really good. So this topic, if you're listening out there and you want to know the topic, because somebody is saying, what's the topic? So why people deny or reject the truth. So this is not the same as people lying. This is denying or rejecting the truth. And one of the things that I learned from this in particularly was that we have to, first of all, love the truth. Put truth above everything, above our relationship with people, above our love for even ourselves. Truth has to be paramount. It has to be the number one thing in anything that we have, any relationship that we have, anything that is pertaining to our life. Truth has to be number one. And once truth is number one, anything else will be easier for us to do, and to do them in truth, or to accept things in truth. So like Julie just said, that one of the reasons why we deny the truth, the major reasons why we deny the truth, is because of authoritative or authority. So who are the authorities in our lives that prevents us from embracing the truth? And how do they prevent us from embracing the truth? So we really need to look at this aspect as well, because it's really important. Yeah. We all do it. I remember when Dr. Sunday was teaching about this, I was actually the example. When he called me while he was teaching and said, Mayowa, come here. I'm going to disappoint you now. I'm going to offend you, because I'm going to say now that you don't actually like the truth. And I was thinking, I actually accepted it at the onset, but I accepted it because I started listening to him. And I know that I know new things about the truth. I know more about the truth than I did before these teachings. So if he said to me that I don't like the truth, or I don't know the truth, I was willing to accept that. But I didn't really know which angle he was going with this. And the angle was that, the truth that I accept today, many of the truth that you, and many other people have accepted are because those truths were told to us by individuals that we see as an authority, that we respect, that we love, that we think that they're wise. So whatever comes out of their mouth, we don't even cross-check it. We don't even question it.
Yeah.
We just said, oh, my mommy told me. My mom, maybe not my mommy. Don't let me be sarcastic. Maybe my mom told me this, and my mom can't lie to me. Why should she lie to me? You know, or my pastor told me this. My pastor is a man of God. Why should he lie? And we don't cross-reference anything. We don't check anything. We don't do our research. We don't do any investigation. We don't use our mind to even dissect those information. It's just because they're coming from somebody that we love, somebody that we respect, somebody that we see as an authority. So that's the ground for us to say that this is the truth. So, which is like a real big eye-opener for me, you know, because yes, we live like that. And it's not only that we live like that, we're actually encouraged, even as Christians, to live in this way, not to question authority, to accept whatever our parents says, whatever anybody says to us. We should just take it because they are older, they know better, they love us because they, you know, so you just suspend your own brain by just taking in. Actually, you don't suspend your own brain. You kind of, suspending it would leave you at the level that it was. In fact, you downgrade your own brain because you don't know where the information is coming from to them as well. And you're accepting wherever that information is coming from to them and accepting what they said without you doing your own due diligence on the topic or the subject or whatever was discussed with you or whatever you've heard. So I thought, wow, we have been doing ourselves such a big indictment, like a big injustice to ourselves without even knowing, you know. And there's many aspects to this. So there's the aspect of, number one, the authority figures. And I think I'm going to read comments because I can see the comments coming. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much because I can see your comments and it's really keeping me warmed up of, you know, we're going to have a lot to discuss today. So there's two aspects that we need to look at this. We need to look at this, even if we're just going to take the authority figure or any information. We are also authorities ourselves. It's not that other people are just authority to us. When we share our own thoughts or our own belief with other people, we should release them, just like Dr. Sunday released his friends of the burden of the responsibility of having to suffer for his own choices and things that he's doing in the video. If you haven't seen that video, to my friends, Don't Cry For Me, you really need to watch it. It's only 10 minutes long. So we also need to take that responsibility of relieving other people. When we share what we believe with other people, we should not expect or demand, rather, we should not demand from them that they need to believe us. You know, parents do that, authority do that, you know, we all do it. Like if I tell somebody something now, I expect that person to accept my word as the truth about it without even going to check it. That's the way that they show me love. This is how we've messed up everything. We should allow people to say, okay, I hear you, you know, and I want to know more about what you said, but I'm not going to take what you said. Allow them to go and research it. They might come back with more information for you to know more. But we don't even do that. Because as soon as we're talking about, we're talking like this, we always think that this is, the perpetrators are other people, that they're not us. As the other people are doing it to us, we're also doing it back to other people. So we really need to check ourselves in this aspect of the reasons why we reject the truth. It's both sides. It's not one-sided. So if I'm an authority and I'm telling somebody something, I should allow that person to not believe what I'm saying, not probably argue with me or, you know, call me a liar or anything. That's not what we're talking about here. That person you should also encourage. So how do we do that to make sure that we're not all living in lies and not embracing truth? Is that we need to encourage other people that if I tell them something that I know, I should say, you know what, I think you should also check this. This is what I believe. And that would empower that person to go and do their own due diligence to find out the truth and to know, okay, all right, this is what you believe. let me see as well. I might come up with a different thing.
Yeah.
I might come up with a different information.
And even if it's an absolute truth, and you know for yourself that this is something that there's no alternative to, still you still have to give the chance to the person to find that out for themselves. But also you should give the truth the chance to vindicate itself. You know, oftentimes you want to just enforce truth on someone, even though that's not a characteristic of truth.
True.
It's almost like we are forcing truth to do something, but let the truth work for itself, because if it's truth, it will. So that's why we shouldn't actually enforce anything on anyone, even if we are an authority.
Yes.
So
This
should we
seems
check?
difficult. Yeah.
Should we check some
Comments? Yes, we should.
Yes. So, okay. Good. Gubare saying, nice topic. Thank you, Gubare. Join in into the conversation, please. Pastor Bede is saying, people deny the truth because they have been brainwashed for years and they have been conditioned to believe lies and half-truths. They now find it difficult to adjust and let go of that which they hold dear. Yeah.
Yes, I see a lot of truth in that. Thank you very much, Pastor Bede. That's true, you know, brainwashed, but we also need to be responsible for ourselves now. I mean, now that this is now out in the open, that we're discussing this, don't let it stop with us or with Dr. Sunday's page or Dr. Sunday's teaching. You also wish, as individuals, I think that we should all embrace this and start telling other people and being the people that champions the truth. And how do we champion the truth? By telling other people that I'm telling you this, but I really think that you should go and do your own due diligence and so also and check and let me know if you find something new, you know, or something different. Because if we are also telling other, we being also authority ourselves, as other people are authority to us, we are also authority and we influence other people as well. We also need to empower. And don't stop at this. Don't stop at this discussion or Dr. Sunday's Facebook page or his YouTube page. Tell people, change your own ways of engaging with people, of telling them things. Don't say, you know, I told you this, because this is one of the things that I do always. It's like if I told somebody something, because I believe that it was true, I have good intention, and I would force that onto the person to say, I told you already. So what if I told you? You know, I should really give the person the chance, the privilege as well, to check out the truth for themselves. So we also need to change our own ways, our own conditions, the way that we've been conditioned as well. If you're an authority, and if you're on the other side, you should also take the responsibility of making sure that anything that you've been informed, you check them out. You do your own due diligence.
Yeah. Well said. Matthew is saying, well done, Queen. Thank you, Matthew. Chimezi is saying, perfect illustration from you, Julie, on how to know the truth. I will be borrowing this. Yes, please, borrow it, Chimzi. Hello, Ron. Hello, hello. Gubar is saying, my ex-in-laws were masters of brainwashing. Yeah, you see, this is a good example of authority, you know, brainwashing us and telling us things that we just take for granted, or we take for granted that they're telling us the truth, and we go with it. So,
Gubara, I'm just laughing with you because you said my ex-in-laws. So obviously you kicked them to the car. I'm just being naughty here.
I was joking. I was joking. Hello, Emma. Oluwatoyin is saying people deny the truth due to ignorance and the environment they find themselves in.
Yes,
yeah,
that's a
and
key
one of
one.
the things that Dr. Sunday actually spoke about was that it's one of the most dangerous things is to live in a society or an environment where questioning is not encouraged.
Yes.
And this is really, really dangerous for us.
Yes. I think you should talk a little bit more about that, Julie.
Yeah, because
about questioning.
Yeah, we tend to shut down our minds because we take for granted that people are honest, especially if they have some specific title or they have a certain age. So when we go to church,
especially as Africans.
Yes, especially as Africans, because if you're, as an African, probably you will be familiar with the fact that if you're older, or if someone is older than you, they usually are right. So whatever they say is truth. Whatever they say has to be accepted and should not be questioned. And that's a pitfall right there. This is never supposed to be done anywhere because you're depriving a person of using their minds. And God gave us something that we are supposed to use. Everything God gave us, we are supposed to use it. Our hands, our eyes, our ears, our noses, everything, including our minds.
Yes.
So there's nothing God gave us that we are not supposed to use. So if you're living in a society where people tell you not to question anything, not to question the other, this is not absolute. This is not something that
It's not true.
It's truth. Exactly. You can't apply it to everyone because not everyone who's older than you knows everything or knows everything that is true.
Yes.
So we have to really, really be careful, especially as Africans. And, you know, us as the new generation, those who get this type of truth at least, you know, yes, this information, we have to be those change agents to change that culture of, you know, listen to the older, no matter what they say. And this is not to promote rebellion or anything. You can have very edifying, very value-added conversations with people of all ages. The very most important thing is that we have to know how to do it, but not to do it.
Yeah, I want to say something about that as well.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, it's changing.
Yeah.
What I want to say is that in terms of people and being questioning is really important. But again, I also want us to go to the other side of this, where if we can question people, we should also allow people to question us. You know, questioning is a way of knowing the truth. And you know, when we talk about being rebellious or not questioning and accepting, we're really doing injustice to both ourselves and the other person as well. I don't think that most people are not even allowing us to question them because they're lying. It's because they believe what they're doing or what they're saying is right. That is the truth, when it's not the truth, because they haven't done their checks. But like Judy said, if it is the truth, we also have to give other people the chance. We have to give truth to stand for itself. Give truth the opportunity to stand up for itself, not that we have to enforce that truth on other people. So truth don't need to be fought for. It would be fine. You know, with time, the truth will come out. With investigation, with research, with understanding, the truth will come out. So when we are also giving people our information or we're telling them things, we should also remember that it is responsible to allow them to question us. What do we normally do when people question us about a matter? Is that we aggress towards them, or it might be passively, or it might be, you know, not passive, like aggressive. Either way is not good, because as soon as somebody feels that they cannot question you over a matter and they have to accept it, you've actually taken the will from them. And I remember this particular teachings was one of the ones that pastors told us the scriptures that God says, let's reason together. Let's come together to reason. I mean, that's an opportunity to question God. What's this? Are we going the right direction? Why is this way? You know, and we tend to kind of look down on people that ask questions as though, it's a cultural thing, I think, as though that they are just rebellious. The word rebellious, or they are not mature for questioning you. Whereas it's the other way around, but we've just had everything skewed. So my point here is that as a person that listens to other people, and as a person that others listen to as well, you have a dual responsibility. The responsibility is for you on your side. When you're talking to other people and you're getting information from other people, you have to ask questions and do your due diligence on the information that you attain, that you believe, that you put in your filing cabinet of truth. And on the other side, when other people are also asking you questions, either they're your subordinate or they're not, or on the same level, whoever they are, you also have the other responsibility of ensuring that you empower them to be able to ask you questions. Don't get upset when somebody's asking you questions, for example. Don't get impatient. Don't, you know, count them with, oh, that's what I know, or being passive or aggressive. Either way, it doesn't work. You're not supporting the truth that we're discussing here. And you're also helping to propagate rejection of the real truth, because it's a win-win situation as far as I'm concerned. If somebody knows the real truth, rather than keeping the wrong thing in their head as what the truth is, you know, it's important to know the real truth.
Let's see maybe what someone else is saying here. Chimizi is saying, why people deny the truth? Let me read this from my phone actually because it's very long. Why people deny the truth? Well, people, in my opinion, deny the truth basically because it conflicts with their chosen, or should I say desired direction or path they have chosen to go along with. To accept the truth would mean they would lose out of the benefit of the untruth which they desire so much to engage in.
Wow.
For example, I'm supposed to forgive, but I chose not to so I can enjoy the feeling of payback. Wow, okay. That's interesting. That's a good angle that you're coming from, Chimize. Let me read the first part out again. Well, people, in my opinion, deny the truth basically because it conflicts with their chosen, or should I say desired direction or path they have chosen to go along with. Yeah. That's true.
And I think we should dissect this comment because this comment is really loaded, and I think she probably knows something else, talking from experience.
Yes.
And I think this is definitely true because sometimes we latch on to what other people tell us to do or what they give us as information because that's what we want to hear. We don't really actually like the truth. And I think that's where Dr. Sunday starts from. You really need to love the truth, embrace the truth, let the truth be the top priority, even more important than you, the love that you have for yourself. The truth has to be number one. So if you like something or somebody tells you something, right, and it's exactly what you want to hear, you're not going to go and do any investigation, are you? Let's be honest. We would just latch on to that and say, wow, that's the truth, because it serves our benefits at that time. And this is exactly what Chimeze is saying. So
yeah, I'm actually thinking of the current series that we have with Dr. Sunday and tithing, for instance. You know, on one hand, we have the pastors and bishops and whoever who tell you that you have to pay tithes to the church and they put it into their pockets. And this is something that is benefiting them, right? So receiving the truth from someone else is probably not what they want to hear because they will be robbed of the benefit of that untruth or that non-truth. But on the other side, you also have people who are greedy and who are saying, okay, as long as I just give my money and I'll get a blessing, that's fine. I won't actually investigate if this is the right thing to do. I'm just going to give my money and get some more, so that's fine. Nobody else has to, challenge me on this, and this is it, and I just close the issue here. And this is exactly what many people are doing, especially in Africa, unfortunately, in the churches.
Wow. That's a very good one. I like the way, Julie, I've actually used the examples of church and the previous teachings on the on tithes. That's a really good one because this is the one that we both, a lot of us don't take the responsibility for as well, that we are actually propagators of it. And I like the way that Julie just said that the reason you pay the tithes, the person taking the tithes, even if they're spending it on the church or whatever, you're dictating your responsibility onto them. And then you're also saying to yourself that, well, on the other hand as well, if I'm going to get blessings for this, let me just give it to them. So you don't really want to care to find out what the truth is. And even when you don't want to accept the truth because this is an easier option. Let me give them 10%. I get blessing and they like me, they recognize me. And, it's for you think it's a win-win, but it's not because you're
living in deception, really.
Wow.
Thank you for that, Chimizi. Thank you so much. Yes, they will definitely lose out of the benefit of the untruth, which they desire so much to engage in.
But that's a short-lived benefit. That's the thing, the truth will always come up supreme. So one thing I know now is that, if you fail to accept the truth now, sooner or later it will come back and show his face and smile at you that
that's very true.
So it's best to just love the truth, embrace the truth, deal with the situation at the onset, and you will come out triumph at the end of the day. Triumphant at the end of the day.
Beautifully said. Hello, Paul. Hello, Oriomi. And she's Sandra. Hi, Stella. Kubara is saying, I witnessed my ex-in-laws brainwashing my ex. I tried talking to her to open her eyes, but she kept saying, a fruit cannot fall very far from its tree, and that is who she is.
Oh, interesting. She's also she's always a brainwasher. So she brainwash people as well. But I do understand. So. Well, that's not who she is. We can create to be whoever you want to be, So, well, if anyone is out there and thinking using this analogy as well, that a fruit does not fall too far from this tree, well, maybe a tree and a fruit doesn't, but human being, they can fall as they want. You're a creator yourself. You're capable of so much more than plants. Yeah. Okay?
You fall and then you walk your path.
Yes.
And also, Gubara, I just want to say, yes, this person may have, been brainwashed, but at the end of the day, you can also only help those people who want help. Because you said you tried opening her eyes, but we also have to be mindful of that this is the piece when we were talking about truth taking care of itself. We can only help so much. We can basically only tell the truth as much as we can. And then we have to give people the opportunity
to go.
Choose. Yeah. People, that's from Marble. People deny the truth because it hurts. Since many people want to live in darkness and truth is light, they feel they are being challenged, thus turn to deny it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it does hurt. I mean, we all can witness that. Truth definitely hurts, especially when you hear it for the first time and you've not engaged with this before, and people come and tell you the truth, and you're like, what?
And I know why I think that the reason truth hurts is because we have failed in the first place to love truth, to accept truth, to embrace truth. So when it comes, which it would from time to time, even if we're not lovers of truth, it will come to you. Yeah. So it would hurt us. But if we are people that love truth as well, when it comes, we just kind of like, okay, I recognize you. You're my big bro. Yeah. You're my friend. I'll take it. I know it's not feeling great right now, but I know it's the right thing to do. Yeah. That would be your relationship with truth. Yeah. So we need to love truth. We don't have a choice.
Yeah, that's true. Jonathan is saying, thank God for DSA. Yes, we agree, Jonathan. Emma is saying, 1, people deny the truth because they probably were living a lie. 2, total ignorance of the truth. 3, they benefit or gain by living a lie. 4, the truth makes things bare and people don't want to face reality. Yeah, I can relate especially to the 4th one, because I remember when Dr. Sunday was talking about the 5 levels of truth, the first thing that we have to do is to tell ourselves the truth about ourselves. And this is such a hard thing to do, facing reality about who you are. Obviously we all have good and bad character traits and whatever, but usually, obviously, we tend to either look at the good ones or not look at anything at all. So looking at the truth can really be hurting. So obviously we don't want to face reality, but we have to do it. We have to. There's no other way around it.
Yes, and I think this list is quite good that Emma has written, and I'm sure that at least you will find one of it that is pertaining to you, or you can actually, what's the word? You can identify with. I actually can identify with all 4, but I think that many people will at least be able to identify with one. Yeah. And this ignorance one is like, ignorance is really not an excuse. And I think that's the main topic here in terms of the authority that we started with, where we're talking about, because you love the person is an authority, because you respect them, because, they're older than you, or they're your group, your mates, they are, many reasons. That is not an excuse at all. Yeah. And this is where we have to take our responsibility now and now start doing the right thing. So just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah. Thank you, Emma. I also like everything you said. I like everything everyone said, but I just want to highlight as well the first piece. People deny the truth because they probably were living a lie. I think that goes along with the second point that you're saying as well. But, it's so funny because often, especially when you look at marriages, where people live a lie, or even relationships in general, people go into these pretending to be someone they're not, or pretending to like doing things that they normally don't like to do just to please the other person, or all these things where you're just living a lie. And at some point, you notice it. And I don't think people completely forget that they're living a lie, but probably they just, what can I say?
Sweep it under the carpet.
Yes, they sweep it under the carpet. Maybe they try to become that person that they are not, and at some point they realize that's not who I am. And so after years and years of, living with another person or spending your time with this person, you then say, this is not who I
can't
am.
do this
I lost
anymore.
myself. Yeah. And then you just wake up from that lie that you're living. This is just...
I'm sorry, guys. This is devastating what we're talking about, but it's so true, especially in
Yeah.
relationships. I mean, we tend to do this a lot. Human being, both male and female, is not pertaining to just one group of or one gender. This is very, very much reality in our in life today. It doesn't even matter even in Africa or in the West or any continent whatsoever.
Yeah.
This is prevalent. You would see this happening a lot where people are living a certain lifestyle or living in a certain way, and they think that that's what they want to live. And, later on, everything will just pop out. It's like that thing doesn't mean that much more to them anymore. Because if it was the truth, it would be consistent throughout eternity.
Yeah.
But if it's a lie, what happens is that you might enjoy it. You might think that it was okay for a period of time. But at some point, you're just going to, I can't do this anymore. And this takes me nicely to the topic of purpose as well. Identifying who you are, knowing who you are, being a person that you got to know yourself. Who am I? Why am I here? Actually, Dr. Sunday's written a book, which is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. Who am I? Why am I here? You can get it on Amazon if you haven't already purchased it, because I've talked about it so many times. I'm sure most people on this watching us right now would have purchased Who Am I? Why Am I Here is on Amazon. And if you just want to listen to audio, the same type of content in Who Am I? Why Am I Here is on Dr. Sunday's YouTube channel and is playlist number 9. I even know it off my head without even going to look. His playlist number 9 is a Calling and Purpose series, so check that out as well. But in conjunction or together with the book, I think you would serve yourself well, and also it will be easier for you to accept and not deny the truth, because once you know who you are, why you're here, truth wouldn't have much stand. You would know your direction, you know what you need to do, and all this list that Emma's kindly giving us will not stand at all. I think.
Okay, Gubara is saying truth is for those who truly seek life in its pure form.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's really good what Gubar have said, because we should all be seeking life in its pure form. Because now if that sentence made me realize that only those, but we should all be seeking life in that way. So that's really interesting.
And I also like what you're saying in the sense that you're also talking about what truth will do, at least in what I see, because you're saying truth is for those who truly seek it. So truth will only reveal itself to those who seek it. So you can't expect truth to show up if you don't truly seek it. And then, you're just going to live in deception all the time, because you're saying probably what you don't actually desiring. And this can lead to quite a lot of hurting and deception.
Yes.
David is saying, totally agree. Like the stuff you guys discuss. What's also truth, Julie really should come to Germany and say hello again.
Is that true, or is it non-truth, David?
That's so kind of you. Nice to see you here. Anything else? No, okay.
That's it. Thank you so much, guys. It's been great with you and your comments. So please keep them coming as we continue this conversation on, or should I say, reflections on the series of the power and force of truth. This series is number 34. It's available on Sunday Adelaja Official. So go to YouTube and type in Sunday Adelaja Official. Once you click enter, then you would see Dr. Sunday's picture with a blue jacket and green shirt and bow tie. Click on that, it will take you to his homepage, and on the homepage, channel homepage, you will find a list, or several lists of, this is just a list, you find pictures, videos, and lists of playlists. So you can go scroll down. If you want this particular one, it's number 34. There are others that you can see as well. It's on everything. Fisaya yesterday told us about the different titles, relationships, parenting, finance, name it. Everything pertaining to life as you know it. You have a series on it that would help you. And it's all free, off charge, free.
Yeah.
No payment. Okay? And you can download them, keep them, send it to their friends, you know, call your friends, invite your friends on YouTube to join you and watch this with you, or, you know, free, no payment, no charges, just your data that you have to deal with your data provider. But download it. I think that's what I suggest actually.
Yeah.
So once you like something on there, download it onto maybe a USB or something, or your computer, so that you can watch it without having to wait for internet service with YouTube.
Yeah, it's definitely worthwhile, guys. I just want to continue with this topic because there's something I remember that is super, super important, and I think we all should always keep in mind. One thing Dr. Sunday talked about was, you know, authority is good, but credibility is better. And that's really, really, really important, because so many people who have authority, who are our friends, who we give authority, not necessarily because they have, you know, they're somehow high in position, but just someone that we give authority to speak to us and that we listen to, that gives us advice and that we take it. We always have to make sure that credibility should be the ultimate guideline, maybe, to judge if we're going to accept what they're saying to us or not. For instance, an example is having children. Yeah, someone comes to you and says, "Oh, you know what? You should have children. Everyone should have children, or every woman should have children," or whatever they're saying about you having children. So you should ask yourself, why would I have to have children? What's the benefit? You know, and what does that mean even? And if that person who's talking, are they talking because they have children and they, you know, what have those children brought to them? What are the pros and cons? How am I going to sustain my life or their lives if I have children? All of these things. I recently actually had a conversation with a friend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm willing to hear that.
who is pregnant and will have a baby soon. And I was discussing with her and everything, and she told me, well, you know, I think these things just come with age. When you're older and you just want to have babies and you want to have, you know, a family and all of that. And I was asking myself, wow, okay, but what does that entail? You know, me just having those desires. It also tells me that I'm going to have to take care of an entire life. Yeah, it is me trying to satisfy my desires at the expense of someone else. So I want to be happy, and therefore I bring another human being onto earth. Is it actually fair? You know, does that make sense? And is this actually going to bring me the joy, the everlasting joy that I'm looking for? You know, looking at those who have children. For instance, I can look at my mom or anyone else who has a lot of children. My mom is not 24/7 happy, and especially not 24/7 happy because we are there.
Yeah, because she gave birth to you.
Or because she gave birth to us. And at the end of the day, we are all gone after years having spent at home. So what is going to be the joy for her then? So these are things that we have to evaluate as an example when it comes to listening to truth from an authority versus is the truth that they're giving us credible?
Yes. I think, you know, you've touched a very, very important factor in this, which is credibility. And that credibility, how do we attain credibility, both for ourselves in the information that we're running with or from the other person as well? Mm-hmm. How do you, that you are telling somebody else information, how is that information credible? Again, I always say that this is always a dual responsibility. Anywhere that we're having any conversation like this, you always have an opposite side. I learned that from analytical thinking, that as well as you being the person that is taking information, you also play the role as well of giving information as well. So if you're giving information to anybody, make sure that it's a credible information too. that responsibility is on you. So if you'd heard something from somebody, or as you're hearing from us, or you're hearing Dr. Sunday's teaching, the onus is still on us as an individual, and you and me as an individual, to check out those things. Don't put emotions into it.
Yeah.
You know, be pragmatic in terms of your thoughts. You know, analytically think about it. Does this make sense? You know, why would this person be saying this? What are they saying? As well as asking the other person question and other people's questions, you also need to ask yourself questions. That why am I so willing to latch on to this? Why is this bothering me? Why is it that I want to take this information and put it in my filing cabinet? I call my head my filing cabinet, my brain, because I file information. So why would I want to put this type of information in my filing cabinet? What benefit would it be for me? You know, so before I put it in my filing cabinet, I need to ensure that this is credible. So in both ways, we always need to be in our dual responsibility as a human being, both as the person that is talking to other people and the person that is being talked to or information is taken from. You know, we have that responsibility. So yes. So guys, tell us, you can engage in this. How do we obtain credibility as the person that is hearing or the person that is actually giving information? So how do we get credibility? So if you can tell us that would be great. In different ways that you know how we can learn or attain credibility, let us know.
Yeah.
It would be great.
Yeah. Do you want to go for another reason, or should we stay with the credibility piece?
Yes, I think the other reason why people reject the truth is because they don't want to offend people. You know, that Dr. Sunday also taught about, and I think that is a big one. You know, and I think this one is a very obvious one. You know, we all do this, where we think that this person is such an authority, or this person is so important to me. You don't even think of them as an authority, but I don't want to offend them. And in not offending them, you are actually rejecting the truth, and the truth is not your best friend. And you also know, I think indirectly, you also know that person is not truthful. Because if you're worried about offending somebody, and that's the reason why you reject a truth or you would deny a truth, then there's something actually wrong in that foundation. There's something also wrong in that relationship. If you're afraid of offending people, the truth should always be your principal priority, you know, and you should do it in love. You know, I don't think fear is love at all. So the fear of not offending somebody says that there's love missing somewhere, and for that reason you want to run with something that is not true. And that's just such a strong and detrimental way of living life. But it's not something that we don't do. I do it as well, but without really thinking. And I think this is where thinking is really important.
Yeah.
Where you think, first, I might offend them for this period of time, but, you know, I can work on our relationship that they would understand later. This is also part of responsibility, because it's irresponsible when you don't want to offend somebody, you don't want to face up to a situation or the offense that might come. Sometimes we just have to face up to the offense because we love the truth, and the truth is paramount for us, not offense. So, and maybe sometimes as well, you know, today I'm going both ways. Sometimes we think that others are going to be offended, but we are thinking that we'll be offending other people because we will be offended if other people question us. So we're measuring other people with our own yardstick, you know, and then we're indirectly saying that those are the people that we're protecting. But we are actually protecting ourselves, because we might be saying that, oh, well, I accepted, you know, this later, when the same person that you didn't try to investigate the truth from, when you tell them your own truth or you tell them your own information and they question you, you automatically get angry, thinking that I didn't even question you when you were telling me something, I accepted it. So you should also do the same with me. That's fallacy.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk about that side of being offended, because sometimes people also deny the truth because they don't want to be hurt, not just to hurt others, but they don't want to be, they actually think that it will offend them, or they will get offended. So they deny it. They don't even want to hear it. Even if they hear it, they reject it just because it's going to hurt their feelings. But the thing with truth is that it doesn't concern, or it doesn't care about your feelings. That's just the truth. Truth does not care about your feelings. No
And
matter-
the feeling is not true.
Exactly.
Either.
They're temporary. They're not absolute. They can change. So we should never even rely on our feelings. But this is the problem with people being offended when they hear the truth, because they let their feelings rule over them, and they acknowledge feelings more than they acknowledge truth. And that's a very dangerous thing to do, because this will actually make you prone to always get offended at anything almost, because you're not stable. If you rely on your feelings are not stable. Your feelings always change, and that's why you will always be changing, and you will always be unstable. So that's a very dangerous place to be, because people will certainly, evil people at least, will take advantage of you this way.
Yes. And actually, talking of advantage, actually, it's taking advantage of yourself as well. If you're worried about offense, or you're offended all the time, this is taking advantage of yourself. And when you take advantage of yourself, you are also another way not being credible. That's another way of compromising on credibility when you're always offended.
Yeah.
Because if you're always offended, or you think other people will get offended, then there's no way you would be able to establish credibility with anybody, because they don't know. Well, all they know to expect from you is offense.
Yeah.
So credibility can never be established.
Yeah. Yeah, Shimizi is also saying something here about credibility. Let me read from my phone. For me, credibility can be attained by being honest enough to admit error. For example, I read from somewhere that John Wesley once had to revisit all the towns and churches he had once preached to correct a previous doctrine he gave and to apologize for the initial error. Most of our church leaders need to be humble enough to go back to old messages and admit error and correct it. That's how credibility can be earned. Wow. Beautiful example.
Wow, but
Beautiful,
it's such a difficult thing to do. I'm so impressed with that. John Wesley. I know he's one of the founding fathers in as a Christianity, but believe me, to go back and correct errors, who does that nowadays? People just bury things and say, okay, I'll just do the right thing next time. But to go back, I believe that's true credibility. I mean, I would totally trust somebody, but there's no reason why we cannot all imbibe that. Why we cannot all do that. When you discover that what you told somebody maybe last month, last week, even last year, or even longer, is changed, or it's not the truth. There's nothing wrong in actually calling the person and saying, look, remember that discussion that we had, and I told you this is actually not true. I found out that something else is the case, and I gave you the wrong information, and I'm sorry because I didn't check what I should have checked, and I gave it to you. Even if you're giving it to them knowing that you didn't do your due diligence, you can always say, you're just sorry, and
or even updating, because sometimes information changes, and you may know it. So you have, because you've given that information to others, you have the responsibility to go and update them as well. I mean, for instance, I'm thinking of companies. I worked in a company where this was a big issue, a big issue of leadership, where they would say things and you would later find out that this was wrong or they did a mistake, and they would not come back to the people to apologize because things were, promises were made and were not kept. Or, they would change information or not deliver all the information, and they would half truth, and then they would not come back and tell the people, admit that they made a mistake, even though in the company you hear that everyone is aware that this is going on, that the atmosphere is somehow polluted because of that non-truth walking around and polluting the entire atmosphere. But leadership would not take responsibility to come and say, you know what, we messed this up, this was wrong, we apologize, we're going to do it this way, or whatever it is. And this is something that can kill a culture. At least, it can kill a company culture, it can kill an organization, it can kill morals. And this is what happened in our company, where people stopped, desiring to come to work, and all they did was coming to earn money. Nobody was, feeling well anymore. Everyone was just wanting to fill their hours and go back home, at least the majority. But this is not how it's supposed to be. You're killing people's passion this way, people's dedication and commitment to you. So
yeah. I really like what Julie just said there, and in the example that you gave, which is the company. I mean, we talk about this as individual and our relationships, but we spend a lot of time at work. And if you're out there as well and you're an entrepreneur or a CEO, this is something that you really need to learn from, because it's not just something that happens in, personal relationship. This also happens in company, in corporate environments, in, small businesses as well. You have this where you say there's no credibility and the truth is not paramount there. So in anything that you're doing, I think this truth is not just pertaining to a relationship one-on-one or, family or, a church or anything like that. It's to do with everything about our lives. We need to imbibe the truth. The truth has to be number one. We have to love the truth more than we love anything. Even the example that you gave, that people are being challenged with their morals and the company, there's nothing that, it's not going to cost the company if they value people. This is also about value. If you value somebody, you want them to know the truth, the absolute truth. And you actually look after their interest even before you look after your interest. And I think this is one thing where we all need to imbibe in everything, and also be able to ask questions. In that kind of company, nobody in the company would be feel that they have the maybe
the entitlement, probably.
Maybe not entitlement, like the freedom to go and ask and say, can you give us the right information? Let us know where we stand, because this is how bad morale start to grow in people.
In our case, it was actually that people were only able to do that once they had anonymous, what is the name?
Anonymous comments.
So whenever you were able to remove your identity and ask a question anonymously, this is when people came out to ask questions or challenge things. So
but it shouldn't be so. Of course,
that's a bad sign.
And that's also part of a responsibility for us as well, that we also should be the people that propagate good cultures. Just because that's happening in your company, Julie, that you used to work, you also need to, you could be their upstarter here, where you would say, John, go to the CEO, this is what's happening within the company, this is how people are feeling, this is part of the fear of offending people and losing your job. But you shouldn't be afraid to lose your job if you're standing on the truth. And this is where we're talking about the company, but the problem is not really with the company, because the CEO are maybe 1, 2, 3 people, and then we have like maybe 100 people working in a company. 2 people behavior and everything is ruling the 100 people. But if they're truthful people, 100 people, if 10 of those people are truthful, everybody will be happy. And where you would say, I don't care if I lose my job, I don't care if I never get promotion, all I want is the truth. Can somebody be bold enough to say, can you please tell me the truth?
That's a big problem, yes.
And that's how we should really live our life. We shouldn't be living in fear. If you're living in fear, then truth is not your friend. Truth is not important to you.
And truth will also not fight for you at the moment fight for you. That it's going to be necessary. Go ahead. Just reading some more comments here. Oriomi saying truth has to be our lifestyle. Yes, that's exactly what Maiwa just said. You're right, Oriomi. Emma Iyana is saying, let me read from here. Number one, we gain credibility by remaining consistently true over time. Credibility is built like reputation. I agree with that. Number 2, use credible sources as your source of information or yardstick for operation. E.g., in terms of church, always use the Bible rather than personal experience, hearsay, or popular opinion. Number 3, be honest to say you don't know when you don't know, rather than acting like you know it all. It's more honorable and credible to do that.
Wow, that's really good. And that last one is like, if you don't know, say, I don't know. Or say, I don't know, I want to find out. Can you find out? I will also be doing my part and, doing the investigation to find out. So, the research to find out. When I say investigation, it's like I'm trying to dig something that I shouldn't be digging, but doing my own research also to find out. Yes, I think we should say that a lot more, that I don't know. There's nothing wrong with saying that. But we don't. I think we think that it's a sign of weakness, but it's good to be weak and know that you're going to be strong in the knowledge, in truth. rather than to be on the face of it appear strong, but at the end of the day is weak. You're weak. So I
because
think that
once it's tested, the truth will come out,
and you lose credibility.
Exactly. I like that. So maybe we can also go point by point here. We gain credibility by remaining consistently true over time. Credibility is built like reputation. Yeah, that's very true. Because nothing is built, from today to tomorrow, or how do they say it? It's
overnight.
Overnight, yes. So we always have to be patient as well. I think that's one of the most important things that, I understand from this. We have to be patient, both with people and both with ourselves, especially when we come out of a life that has been a deceptive one or an ignorant one. Just like now, we're all learning how to actually be Christians, or how to learn to walk with truth. What does it mean to pray, and what does it mean to walk with God? All of these things, we have to be patient with ourselves. We should not condemn ourselves when we stumble, because we all will always stumble. And the same goes for other people who, may come. We never know where people come from. So they may struggle with themselves of telling the truth now for the first time or whatever. And when they try, we should encourage them instead of, judging them because they did, tell us lies once or twice or even thrice. It happens. But, we should be the change agents here and try to help them build that reputation of credibility.
Absolutely.
Number 2 is use credible sources as your source of information or yardstick for operation. For example, in terms of church, always use the Bible rather than personal experience, hearsay, or popular opinions.
Yes, but I just want us to be careful, because we've all used Bible so much, and Bible has been used to manipulate things so much. So how do we use the Bible? Using the Bible comes with understanding, and understanding comes with, relationship with God, solitude, asking God to give you understanding, even talking to other people. So if we just go by the Bible, a lot of people are manipulators, as we've seen with the Bible. So just putting that out there, that it's something that we need to be, again, very, very skilled at understanding relationship, time, like Judy said, time, conversion, knowing the Bible, knowing relationship with God is what will help you to know this, not just reading the Bible. Because you could read the Bible and people will give you 4 different meaning of what you've read, and it might all make sense to you, and that might not be the truth.
Yeah, that's why it's important. Actually, I like that you said use credible sources, because credible sources can be found everywhere. But we can use
sources of what?
Depending on what you're talking about. But that's why it's so important to read widely. Like we've once said in one of our broadcasts, read widely. Try to find information from as many sources as possible, because all of this whole earth has been replenished with riches. God has replenished this earth with so much. So we can find so many answers, so much truth by only observing nature, just observing nature. You don't need the Bible to observe nature, right? But it is a credible source. So these are all sources that are credible. We shouldn't limit our sources to the Bible only, even if we are talking about things that concern God or the Bible.
Yes.
And then number 3, be honest to say you don't know when you don't know, rather than acting like you know it all. It's more honorable and credible to do that.
Yes,
we've talked about that as well. So thank you very much, Emma, for your comments.
Yes, guys, it's that time now. We have to close this program for tonight. But don't worry, we're coming back. Dr. Sunday is starting a checklist. Yes. Today is a checklist of how to know if you've been a pagan or if you've been a Christian. I mean, how easy is that? This is just like, tick, I'm this. Take a cue out of Emma's list, number 3. Yeah. Be honest. So please, guys, go and get your pens and papers ready, or your audios, anything that you need in order to make sure that you get your checklist written down and start taking if you've been a pagan and if you've been a Christian, and how to repair that. I'm really looking forward to this, guys. I'm so looking forward to it. So we're going to see you back in 56 minutes, okay? Woo-hoo. So guys, come back, and don't forget, YouTube is your friend. Julie's always screaming in her head whenever I say this. I know for a fact when I say YouTube is your friend.
But this time I really concur. Well, I concur all the time, but today especially I want to say, try to watch at least half of Dr. Sunday's teaching about truth, especially the first one when he talks about telling yourself the truth about yourself, because this is what this is going to be about. You have to be honest with yourself and look at that checklist and ask yourself, am I this or am I that? And be truthful about that. And this season, this teaching will help you to operate in a very truthful manner. So please, 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 if you have the time, watch it before you come online with us.
Yes, guys. So we're back now. It's 55 minutes.
Yes.
So we'll see you soon. So take care of yourself. Bye for now.
Bye.